Hi, my name is Saki,
My name is Fighter,
And my name is Joshua.
and
and welcome
welcome,
to Misguided
Misguided
Guided
Assets.
Assets.
assets. Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I was very hopeful that we were going to be able to sync all those words together.
Ah,
Very
oh,
fun.
oh,
Anyway.
the editor will worry about that later. Who wants to
aka
go first
you.
as a topic?
Um,
Well, considering you're going to be the one, I believe, hosting Sugumi, maybe you should start off first.
No, 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 no.
True.
You
I
don't?
have, I
Okay.
have big news. I'm gonna leave that for later.
Oh,
Oh
boy.
yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah, he does. So Josh,
Nice. Nice for putting me on the spot.
you're
I don't
welcome.
really have any topics to really talk about, but I do have a bit of an experience. Like 2 days ago, I think from now, I went onto like an improv class. Have you guys done that at all? Improv?
Nope.
No.
Oh, improv. Okay. Uh, so to generalize what improv is, it's basically just people doing stuff just in the moment. So basically reacting to what other people are saying to add your own stuff to it, and basically just keep going. Improv is mostly used for comedy because just like situations and wacky prompts that other people give you um, kind of leads itself to comedy. But improv can usually mean a bunch of different things. It's usually just meaning basically doing something as you go, right? So I went to an improv class, and I went with a friend of mine. Um, Basically, a friend of mine joined. He goes to like improv class, and then he also has like a club that he has to go to that he wants to go to as well. And so he just invited me because I think I expressed some interest in also taking a class in improv. So we went there, um, and basically just like they basically asked us to sign in, and then we had to do our introduction. Now, how the introduction worked and how the game worked was that everyone was basically standing up in a line, and there would be one moderator. The moderator would basically point to someone, and as they were pointing to someone, that person had to come up with a story. And then at some point, they would stop pointing and point at someone else, and then that person has to continue the story from where they left off. And it basically just goes like just from person to person, just keep on going um, on whatever random order is it is. So you don't know when you're going, um, and if you mess up, um, how you basically transition from their dialogue to your dialogue. If you mess up that, then I believe I forget what they say, but I'm just gonna paraphrase and say they say bang, and then once they say bang, you're basically out for that entire game. Once you mess up the line, they just basically you have to sit down, and you have to wait until the rest and until the game ends. So I did this, and it was very stressful for me because I
I
don't know
bet.
why, because like I think I do well in terms of with improv and other stuff like that because I've done like D&D sessions before, and I sort of just goof off and kind of do my own little thing, usually on the fly. So I felt like I would actually be pretty good with this. But no, this one was stressful, and I think most of that stress just had to come down to the fact that it's like improv is naturally funny, and so I'm worried if I may or may not be funny or whatnot.
Did
So
they ever change prompts midway during your
no,
segments?
you basically continue from where the last person left off. And the thing is like it doesn't have to be a coherent story. Mostly because like you don't know when you're just all of a sudden on the spot. So most likely by panicking, you're not actually following their story. You might follow like some completely different story or add on to that. You just basically have to keep on talking.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like I did that a few times. I was called on to do it twice to continue the story twice, and I did a decent job. I don't think I really had any laughs, but I did. I did pretty good, I think. I wasn't one of the people who got out, so that was at least lucky. But just after that, I just like I felt my heart, and it was beating really hard, and it surprised me that it was so that it was like I don't know, stressful, nervous. Like I would probably say like nervous or stressful or something like that. But it's just like that feeling where it's like
Nerve wracking.
yeah, nerve wracking kind of thing. So it was very surprising, and that basically foreboded pretty much the rest of the club kind of afterwards. Because then we did like a bunch of different games. I won't go into specifics because I don't know if we have enough time in this podcast to just literally just listen to me. But like all throughout the improv club, I would just basically get up there, and I would do just like basic improv. I would do improv and stuff like that. One, I don't think I really got that many laughs, which is fine. I think that's they tell me that that's like just a part of improv. Like you should be prepared to not get any laughs at some points in order to
Yeah, just
continue
like
doing
stand-up
improv.
comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, sometimes you won't get laughs. But number two was also just like one of the things that they said for improv is just basically as soon as you have something in your head, as soon as you have an idea, just go do it. Even if you don't have a plan for how that idea is gonna go out, you got to go in there. I did not do that, which to me is crazy because I find myself that I have like a pretty good amount of confidence. I think I'm pretty good at speaking, public speaking, and just talking to others, just like on a stage or talking to like a group. But just like during this particular game, during these games, it's like I would hold myself back because it'd be like I lose my opportunity because the person in front is already like doing the story. So by the time that the idea reaches my head, it's like, oh, that would be really funny. Let me go do that. The time would have already passed, or rather, I'd be so hesitant that the time would pass by then.
Mhm.
So it was very stressed. It was a bit nerve wracking. And they just kind of tell me it's like don't overthink it. Just kind of do as you want. Be prepared to not get any laughs. That's just part of improv and just exist. So
Do you think
uh,
improv helps build up your character for just social situations in real life?
uh, I mean, I think it's an aspect of it. I think for my personality, I think improv does benefit.
I
But I don't
think
really
it
think.
can, but
Yeah,
not in every situation, of
Yeah.
course.
yeah,
You cannot always expect the unexpected. There's always going
Yes,
to
of
be a time
yeah.
where you slip up.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like that improv thing. I'm gonna be going next week, and hopefully I'll just be like prepared a little bit better. But really, like, I guess I just kind of the there's also the other thing where it's just like this kind of club was already established like weeks before I ever came into the picture, and sometimes even weeks before. Because the context to this is that the improv club, there's also improv classes in our school in our college. And the improv classes, there used to be three, but then from last semester, apparently not enough people um, tried to join improv 2 and improv 3. So they just cut those classes. And so there is only improv 1. And my theory, which I could be incorrect about this, is that is that the improv 2 and improv 3 kids decided to make this club, or rather join this club as a means to basically get their, I guess, studies of improv without having to go to class. And as such, a lot of these kids kind of knew each other because they were probably like in the same improv class or knew each other from improv. And so a lot of the jokes that was in that session were like in jokes. Well, there was like one about the moderator's mother. Uh, there was
Inside
apparently
jokes.
there's apparently one about one of the guys who apparently joined our class was also a college dropout. One just about yeah, it's just like basically a lot of in jokes within parties that really none of us really
Hmm.
newbies would really understand. And like it kind of nerve wracked me because it's like I was put into a situation where I believe the setting for an improv thing was the moderator's house.
Ooh.
Um,
Good
but it's
luck.
like I didn't have anything, so I just basically improv. I improv as a tourist, just because I think that would be a pretty interesting role to put myself into. But yeah, it just that it felt odd because it's like trying to figure out what makes these people laugh. What is funny in this group? And I definitely probably could be overthinking this. And again, this is just from one class, so who knows if next week might be better. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. I did not expect myself to be nerve wracked. And I hope I'll have more fun next time, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Anyone else have anything to interject there?
Um, not really.
Yeah.
Are we ready
Um,
for the bombshell? Is what I'm asking.
Is this the best
sure,
intro
go
I got?
ahead.
Okay.
All right.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I think I know what the bombshell is.
Mm-hmm.
so I basically did a autopsy report of Blizzard Entertainment. As you've recently known, they've been acquired by Microsoft for around like $63 million, or is it billion? Can someone check that real
I'll check.
quick?
Yep,
Are
Thank
I'll
they
you.
check.
billionaires or are they millionaires? God, the question of the
I mean,
century.
Microsoft is like are trillionaires, right? I'm pretty sure they are. They're like
Something like that.
yeah, they're like one of the biggest OSs.
Um,
I don't know.
68.7 billion.
68.7 billion. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
That's more than
billion.
a million. I don't know why I was thinking million. Anyways, so after the company was acquired, Bobby Kotick had a some couple of remarks to say whenever he did leave his seat open. And by the way, he's stepping down as CEO of Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, at the end of 2023. So whenever it hits 2024, he's out of there.
All right.
Why he's not out of there
Yeah.
sooner is something I do not know. They're gonna have to. They're
Um,
gonna have to help. He's gonna be there to help move the acquisition all the way forward and get new employees and staff up and running for Microsoft. But
mhm.
Fair.
yeah,
Fair.
he had.
Um,
Uh, oh yeah, go right ahead.
uh, I heard that he originally was supposed to leave halfway through 2024. I
Okay,
heard that somewhere. I'm not sure.
I've only heard at the end of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is what he said in his final remarks. I'm gonna be reading the whole entire thing, mind you.
Okay.
When Brian Kelly and I began this journey in 1991, we intended to build a company that would have great impact and lasting value. Your tireless work and unwavering commitment to excellence enabled us to do just that. Um,
Is that it?
no, I'm gonna go further. Your dedication is what makes it possible for us to continually push envelopes, break records, and delight players. Amid the uncertainty of the last 21 months, you've remained focused and always serving our players and supporting each other, which is kind of funny because
Hmm.
if you know what Activision Blizzard has been pushing down at least Overwatch players throats, it's just like but like skin
Yes.
bundles, stuff for like you know what, you know what's really scummy. At the beginning of before Overwatch 2 started, in Overwatch 1 there was a $40 like watch point bundle. uh, a lot of people went into thinking like, well, if I had to get Overwatch 2, I have to spend $40 for the skin pack. But later on, it came to pass that no, Overwatch 2 was going to be free to play, and there was a big misconception that you had to pay $40 to get Overwatch 2. I was one of the people that got suckered into
Mm.
that. I didn't know.
Hmm.
But it kind of did work out
Uh,
because I wanted to get I wanted to farm some of the skins before Overwatch 2 became a thing, because you can't acquire skins for free anymore via the loot
Yeah.
box and leveling system, which is it's kind of dumb.
Annoying.
I hate that. I wish they brought back loot boxes, not the ones that were not in a way where you have to spend money, but you can get it passively just for free. You should I firmly believe that loot boxes are a spawn of the devil. You should not ever have them in the game. They encourages
Yeah.
gambling.
Remind me
Yes.
if like the loot boxes in Overwatch are cosmetics only, or do they actually affect gameplay?
Cosmetics.
They are
Cosmetic
just cosmetic.
only.
Okay, that's fair enough. Because most
Yeah.
other games have been
Hmm.
doing that, honestly. Uh, I don't know. Uh, I mean, it's like the thing is like it is cosmetics, so like a player doesn't have to pay for it. A player doesn't have to buy it,
Hmm.
and I mean I don't
True.
really know the
But
social aspect that you guys
there were
engage
like
with.
limited time skins you can
Yeah.
get during uh
Y-
stuff
Oh, that's
like
just FOMO.
New Year's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's the FOMO that
Pink
drives people to buy
Mercy.
it.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Like limited
Viewers,
event skins like that. And the Lego
viewer,
Bastion skin.
yeah, yeah. Viewers, just for
Like,
context, these two over here have played Overwatch. I have not played barely any of it. So
Yeah.
I'm just basically going off
yeah.
of from like an outsider's perspective. Um, and I mean, like, I don't know. It depends on how impactful it is, because I personally do not really see cosmetics as really that impactful, at least in terms of that. Sure, it'd be
Um.
cool if players could like earn it some way by either like playing a lot, doing specific challenges, or just
Yeah.
like earning it through playing a lot of games. But I mean, like the main issue with that specifically is the fact that it's like the companies won't really be making money. And other loot boxes are like a bit of a scummy way because it's basically like a risk and reward on like if you can roll for loot boxes or not. But you can also like not get them, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Again, this is from an outsider's perspective. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how much of an impact cosmetics actually really have on the game, socially, or just with other players, like trying to
It's
boost
just
your
bragging
status or
rights.
whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pretty much just bragging rights
So then I guess the question
and
is
looking
like,
cool.
yeah. Then the question is basically like, should you pay? Should you even? I guess like the basic question is just like, is it okay, to have to spend money for simple bragging rights and coolness, or yeah,
Some people
because
say
isn't it like
yes,
Yeah,
some people say no.
but here's
I'm
the thing.
personally saying no.
But here's the thing, they're using a psychological tactic whenever you try to go buy loot boxes because it's using Overwatch currency and not just straight money to money conversion, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
way to trick people into spending more money than they think because when they see like a bundle value is like, oh, I get 500 Overwatch coins, and but that's equating to like, but and you get a bonus of like plus 200 or stuff like that. It's things like that that screw up your perception of money and causes
I
people to
mean,
pay more than they actually should. You can
Yeah.
honestly see this in like for little kids. They barely know
Mm-hmm.
any of this. They're like they just see ooh 1,000 that's a good price.
okay,
I get a ton of shit.
It
okay. On
it's
terms of
the
kids, what's the rating for Overwatch?
Dude, you know that in every game there's always gonna be one like there's gonna be some parents that are okay with their kids playing a
Yeah,
game
yeah, yeah,
below
but
their
like
age
that,
rating.
I don't know.
yeah.
This is probably going way deeper into like just the fact of just like should kids allow or should parents allow kids to play like higher age games like
Isn't Overwatch
hyper
like T
mature
for
teen for
teen?
teen? Yeah, it's T14, which is like
Yeah.
I
supposedly
think
supposed to be
so.
13 and up. Um, but yeah, it's just like then the question becomes like, should kids be playing Overwatch? Should they be doing that? Because legally, technically, if on their terms and service they say that only 13 and up can play their game, then technically they're not really in the wrong. And sure, you could probably put more like barriers, like making it so that players have to put in their date of birth or have we don't actually have really a system to determine a player's age at all.
I
But
mean,
yeah, it's basically like if in
here's the
the
thing.
terms of service they
But
say
here's the
13 and
thing.
up, then
Overwatch is on Steam. Steam already has a age verification and stuff like that. When it comes to gruesome
Mm-hmm.
content, they'll
well
ask you
yeah,
straight up before you even load into the page. Now, if we're talking
but then
about just if we're buying the game and you're playing it through the Blizzard startup screen, like a lot of people who played Overwatch One have done, then there's
Mm-hmm.
mm,
like no age
Battle.net.
verification. Yeah, do battle. At
okay,
least to my knowledge, there is no like age verification. It just assumes that you're the right age.
that's fair enough. But again, terms of service, even if it doesn't tell you, terms of service might tell you that. In which case, like legally,
I
they
mean, who
wouldn't be
reads that?
liable.
Uh,
Whether or not that's morally correct is up in the air. But I mean, yeah, it would just
all
be
right,
safe to probably add an age verification thing. But
yeah.
you know,
All
world's
right.
weird like that. We just assume things. Like YouTube's supposed to be 13 and up, and we know that kids are watching stuff like that.
Yes.
Hell, I
Okay.
was a kid when I watched that, so it's
Going
like,
forward. Going forward.
go ahead.
Yeah.
The CEO of Xbox, Phil Spencer, is talking about reorganizing monetization when it comes to Blizzard, and he's wanting to tread a path that is less money hungry and more driven to having developers work on things they're more passionate about.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
sounds like a
Whereas,
PA
So
tactic, but
speaking
okay.
yeah,
of that,
what?
Eh,
um, um, apparently, during Overwatch One, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, the former Blizzard CEO told the devs to work on something. And
Oh, I'm about
and
to talk about that. Yeah.
oh, okay. I'll let you talk about it then.
Okay. So Bobby Kotick, the former CEO of Activision Blizzard, would usually dedicate large swaths of time on projects like the development of hero missions or the map editor, which would have been a great thing, right? You being able to design your own type of maps and
mhm.
custom imports. You can recreate TF2 maps. You could have done that
Mm,
in Overwatch.
Well, well,
All right.
well, well. What we assumed was a map editor. It wasn't confirmed.
I
Let's
mean,
make sure we're not
I've
spreading
heard through the
misinformation,
grapevine.
guys.
No, no, I heard from the grapevine from someone else who did work from for Activision Blizzard that they were working on
Hmm.
something similar to that or something along the lines of that. Now I
Oh,
don't they
okay.
now they're not going to be able to say a lot probably because of NDA and they're scared of what
Yeah.
Blizzard might do to them if they were to speak out. That's I'm getting my information from Flats, by the way.
Yeah,
Just
same
to be
here.
clear. Okay, cool.
Okay, I think as long as you're honest about the source, anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and since you know how with the developers putting a ton of their time on the table just to have projects shut down like that, I mean, I can kind of understand why content for the game has been slowing down, or it's been kind of it's been kind of
Non-existent for
non-existent.
years.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the current bundle they're doing for the World Cup?
I
No.
haven't looked at it. No.
Look it up. There is a I'm trying to remember her name. Sojourn skin and a Lucio skin on there. I think it's going for like $35-ish, if I'm correct.
That's
Hmm.
crazy.
And here's the thing: they
Oh,
shut down the whole entire esports organization. People were being people were spending upwards up to like I think 63 million to get into the esports scene for Overwatch just itself. Yeah, there you go.
that okay.
Yeah. So yeah, people and teams were getting into the esports award by spending $63 million just to have a slot in there, right? So there's like the Houston Outlaws, my favorite one, right? And a lot of other teams. After uh, after esports wasn't seen as a cash cow, they decided to shut down the Hunter project, and they were giving consolation out for like around $6 million for any of the teams that wanted to just take the money. So they got rid of esports, and now they're doing a crowdfunding campaign using those skins right over there to get another esports scene going. It's all being funded and done by fans now
Why is it?
instead of through these organizations.
Yeah, why is the organization crowdfunding? I would think that they would have the money to do an esports thing themselves.
Well, they weren't
That's
making
weird.
enough money, and Bobby needed a new yacht. He's like, dude, we're
Okay.
spending way too
Uh,
much money on this. Let's just back out while we can. You know, they
okay,
weren't finding a return on investment, which is fair because
that's
esports
fair.
doesn't
Yeah.
really make money at all.
I mean, it's supposed to make money by generating popularity for a game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but esports teams in general don't really make money for the people who are investing into them. It's a huge
Hmm,
loss. Well, as
got
of
it.
right now, there might be something down the road that will help out in the long term. But
Right,
for
right, right.
right now, we haven't found a solution.
Got it. Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah.
This is what they had to say about crowdfunding on the Blizzard website. For the first time in Overwatch history, we'll be crowdfunding the World Cup prize pool with an exciting state of skins and other game cosmetics over the coming months. 25% of all Overwatch World Cup cosmetics and bundles will contribute to the Overwatch World Cup prize pool. There will be no contribution cap, so prizing and will continue to grow until crowdfunding ends on the last day of the Overwatch World Cup finals. So only 25% of that is actually going to the winning team.
Hmm. I mean, depends on how big the venue
Only
is. Then.
25. And the thing is, they're doing this venue at Blizzard, the Blizzard like where they usually hold BlizzCon and
BlizzCon.
all that. Yeah, they'll be doing it there. So it's a small stadium, so it's a place they already own. So what are they really paying for, right?
Hmm.
Honestly, I think it would have been way cooler to have at least maybe 50% of it go to the esports orgs. Maybe they are doing something like that
At
in the
least a
background.
third of it, I'd say. At
Maybe
least a
they're
third.
yeah, at least a third of it. I think that would have
Hmm.
been way better.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's interesting.
besides that, anything to add right there before I
I
go
think it's.
even further, because it's
I don't
gonna
know.
get really dark.
All right. I think
Yeah,
it's.
I don't doubt
I
that.
I think it's very interesting though, because like you're speaking about like all this information, but the fact of the matter is that we are outsiders. We don't know what's going on with Blizzard. We don't know what's happening
Oh
over
yeah,
at
we
Blizzard
don't.
or the
But
state of
they're
Overwatch or
prof.
other things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
we're
their
basically
track
just
record
speculating
sucks.
based on information and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Their
But
track record it actually sucks.
I do want to look at this with like a grain of salt because who knows what's actually going on in there and what actually is like being the main issue, like why stuff is happening like this and stuff like that. Like basically, I don't want to make two assumptions, and also, and you guys already know me because of this. I don't tend to think like pessimistically towards anything. I think everything happens for a reason, and I think there's probably a reason why this stuff has happened. At least in terms of how all this works and stuff like that. There's always a bigger reason. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just because like they're just evil or hate everyone or
Oh,
whatever.
dude, I would like to disagree. There's been
Yeah,
workplace
that's what happened.
discrimination between men and women. There has been there's been a pay gap for women in the Blizzard company in the
Yeah,
past. I'm not saying currently because I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
There,
just because like it's very
has
complex.
there's no, no there's more
McCree incident.
Yeah, the McCree incident. There has been a case where someone game ended themselves. I'm not going to say the S word. Okay,
Right.
they game ended themselves
Yeah.
over one of like their boss doing something to them like sexually.
All right. It's just it's very complex, and I don't want to make any too harsh judgments.
Yeah.
Even based on what you say, because it's like I don't know the sources, and I may never know the context. Basically, I basically don't want to take the information that I'm getting to have any actions because we're on the
At
internet.
face
Anything we
value.
say can have an impact on other people
Yeah.
we say. Which, if what we say
Mm-hmm.
is wrong or misinformation, we end up spreading it. And so it's better
I would
just to
like
kind
to
of
add a
basically
disclaimer here, guys.
now.
Take this as a grain of salt.
Oh
Everything
my god.
that should be words to live by. You should always take everything
True.
with a grain of salt. Look
Yeah.
up and fact check everything for yourself. Don't
Mhm.
take whatever you don't take anything you've heard online as fact.
At
And
face value.
yeah, take
Yeah.
it all as face value. All
Yeah.
right,
We should remind
we're
ourselves
just
to say that.
people.
Yeah. We're just people giving our opinions on things.
Yeah.
None of us should really be taken seriously. Because we're basically just other idiots.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So concerning this, even the past CEO has stepped up to talk about the workplace discrimination inside the company. He had to say, I have read the full complaint against Activision Blizzard and many of the other stories. It is all very disturbing and difficult to read. I am ashamed. It feels like everything I stood for has been washed away. What's worse is even more important, real people have been harmed and some women had terrible experiences. So
All right.
it's a long letter. It's a very long letter. It's talking about misogyny, discrimination, harassment, and other like workplace violations that's been going on inside the company.
Right.
And Flatsum did say that Bobby cares a lot about his reputation.
You're gonna have to name me some
Ooh,
sources. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So again,
Sources.
about the game ending situation. It was a 32-year-old female Blizzard employee during a company retreat back in 2017. Blizzard was sued by the victim's parents, and they claimed it was due to sexual harassment at the workplace. The company has been sued for gender-based discrimination. The story alleges that her boss had sexual relations with her. He lied to the police, and that he, the boss, lied to police in their report, and that he tried to hide their relationship following her death. They also make note after they spent time together, one hour after she left and went back to her room, that she game ended herself. Now, like I try to look up online if the court case has finished at all. Just a simple quick search. I couldn't find anything about it whatsoever.
Source right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the right one?
No. It is
You can just put it in the description.
it's a Washington Post article.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add it later.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So if you thought that was bad,
All right.
I would like to say this. So there has also been cases of breast milk being stolen at the company workplace as well. So at Blizzard,
How? What do you
they
what
have
do
a
you mean?
they ha-
How?
they have a nursery at Blizzard, which I think is
They
that's
do?
pretty cool. Yeah, which I
That's actually
think
kind of
is
sick.
yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But
All
also,
power to them. I think that'd be cool to see that in other areas.
that's true. Uh, but also, why? Why would you steal breast milk? What's the point
No
in
one
that?
knows. No
It's,
one knows.
why?
A kink maybe. I
Yeah,
have no
maybe,
idea.
most
I
likely.
just, I guess I don't know. That's crazy and funny to think about.
Yeah. So
Why?
the
Also,
workplace has their own
how?
sort of
Doesn't the milk
nursery
go
of
directly
sorts.
to the baby? Where else does
Yeah,
it even go?
A
You
bottle.
don't store
yeah,
breast milk, do
A
you?
bottle.
yes, yeah.
You
They
can.
use
You
a
can.
pump and then they put it in a bottle.
Yeah.
It has to be
Okay, well,
refrigerated.
okay, so it's probably just me being stupid then. Never mind.
Yeah,
I,
probably.
I just thought it was straight from the
Dude,
breast. I didn't
dude.
know.
No.
No, you can. I mean, you can.
Yeah, I didn't know that
You
that's actually
could.
something people could do. Is basically put it in a bottle and put it in the fridge. I didn't know that was something you could do. Because I
Yeah.
thought you just buy that from like a supermarket or whatever.
That's formula.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's downsides to using formula.
I guess.
It's just for ease of use. One thing I was
Alright.
talking about like the other day with my mom, she was talking about how when it came to breastfeeding me, she stopped halfway because I wouldn't eat for some reason. I was getting too distracted watching TV. And one of the benefits of breastfeeding is that you have a greater immune system because you're getting it from your mother,
Right.
and it can
Mhm.
potentially help out against allergies and your reaction to them. Because,
Huh.
dude, I suck when it comes to allergy season. I'm shit faced.
Hmm.
I'm halfway. Sometimes I'm miserable. Sometimes, I don't really feel anything for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They used to call me the machine gun back in high school for how often I sneezed.
Mm.
So
No, I was there for one of them
I think
during the computer
no,
lab.
no, yeah, it got so bad that they kept high score.
I'm pretty sure it was like 7 or 8
But yeah,
in a row, like 8 seasons in a row. Uh,
I've had more.
Yeah. Besides that, so the nursery, it doesn't have any lock or key, and it's also undermanaged. So like anyone can walk in there and steal it. Other employees would walk in there and sometimes throw their beer in the same refrigerator as the breast milk.
I mean, sure.
Beer, beer,
Freaking I can go to like my college building and steal a chair if I wanted
dude.
to.
But it's in the nursery, meant for nursing, not to put beer in there.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Oh, wait, did you say they put beer in the refrigerator in the nursery?
Yes.
All right,
Why?
wild.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, why?
Beer's not good for pregnant women.
There's just
Don't
not
do
enough
it. Don't
fridges in the
drink beer.
office,
Don't drink beer.
man.
One employee
uh,
states that there was no fridge no fridge in the room, so I had to label and carry my breast milk out and stored it in the break room fridge. It was clearly breast milk in baggies with a baby's face on it. Former Blizzard producer Stephanie Krusick, another victim, corroborated the claims. One day I went to retrieve my pumped supply at the end of the day and it was gone. They go on to state someone had either taken my bags and tossed them or stolen them for some creepy reason. Also, the person
yeah,
was never caught. Person who kept on stealing the breast milk. This has happened
Mm.
multiple times, mind you.
sounds like an
It
urban
never got
legend.
caught
Sounds
at
like an
all.
urban legend.
It's not. It's not. There's
I know
clearly
it's not. I know it's not, but like I can imagine like years later it will become an urban legend or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, still the question of just like why. But other than
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
yeah, it seems like work-based stories. I don't know.
So yeah, so we've gone
I
past
like
the
it.
hard part. This is what
All right.
Bobby Kotick sees himself going forward in a interview with Bloomberg. You know that reputable. It's like Bloomberg, like business related stuff and all that, right? Business news and things that have to do with companies, deep dives and all
Mhm.
that. They interview people. Uh, he did an interview with them and he talks about the merger and how great Xbox and Phil Spencer are. He's basically sucking up to them because he's been bought out and all that. I don't know why. He
It's like the
sounds
Simpsons episode.
yeah.
Funny.
I was watching I
Yeah.
was watching the interview, and dude, the man looked like a freaking robot. He stared into people's souls, all devoid and out of touch reality, as if his company has nothing wrong going on.
Eh,
Mm.
It's like we're in Looney Tunes world. He
who knows?
plans to do like a philanthrop. I don't know how to say this.
Philanthropy?
Yeah, philanthropy. Yeah, I had a philanthropic down. I couldn't really say it at the time. Philanthropic business like working with K through 12 learning, reducing hatred and intolerance in the world, and improving relations with countries like China. And if you didn't know, Blizzard cut ties with China over mismanaging in deals in the past, like with
Hmm.
NetEase. Yeah, they had a confrontation with NetEase. I do not know for what reason. It was probably for payout reasons, and also maybe Free Hong Kong, the Free Hong Kong incident. If you guys know about that.
Maybe, yeah.
Don't.
Okay, so as a recap, Free Hong Kong happened during a Hearthstone's tournament where one of the top players, I do not remember his name. Uh, he's from Hong Kong. Just know that. And at the time, he was talking about freeing Hong Kong from China, right? So he was being anti-government, and that could have helped sway the fact that Blizzard stepped away from China itself. And whenever Blizzard did
Uh,
step away from China, it caused a lot of people who played like World of Warcraft or I believe Overwatch to lose their accounts. So people who spent thousands and thousands of hours and years playing World of Warcraft have lost their accounts because
There's
Blizzard
maybe.
backed out of China.
I think there's more than that because I don't think one person can
No,
influence
no,
why
I'm
Blizzard would
no,
leave.
no,
I
yeah,
think there's
I
got
mean,
to
I
be some more
understand that.
reasons
Yeah, that's why I
besides
said that.
that.
That's why I talk about the NetEase deal because they had a uh, they had a fight with NetEase over just miscommunication basically, and that caused them to back out.
Okay.
He-
Yeah.
the player's name was Angie Y Chung, b- but his in-game name, I believe it
Blitzchung.
is
His name was
yeah,
Blitzchung. Yeah,
yeah.
and since all these people lost their accounts um, during the like Blizzard just backing out of China, it caused stuff like the reviews for Overwatch 2 to tank to just extremely low numbers. So when you look it up on Steam, right, it has a like overwhelmingly negative review rating on there because a lot of the
Yep.
like I'm pretty sure I'm trying to remember back. I think it was like 2/3 of them. I think I remember hearing 2/3 of them were from China itself. Of the
Mm.
reviews from there. Yeah. So
Do you
that's
want?
why the game was extremely negative.
Do you wonder why though? If like that might be contributing to why Overwatch is trying to get like money or basically like trying to crowdfund their esports thing. You think like the Hong Kong cut, or I guess the China cut, basically made it so that Overwatch wasn't making as much money anymore, or something like that.
I mean, dude, they own Candy
Right there.
Crush.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, they
Blizzard
do.
owns Candy Crush. They make a killing off of Candy Crush.
Right. No, I'm not
Hmm.
talking about if they don't have enough money to put money into Overwatch. It's more of a like because they're not getting that much money out of Overwatch, does that mean they're also not putting as much in? Or rather, that's why they're crowdfunding to see how much the fan base likes Overwatch, despite the fact of how few there are. Or
I mean,
who
there's a lot of
knows?
things they could be doing, like quality of life changes, which would cause people to come back into the game and possibly spend money. But it's just that their business practices have just been very scummy,
Yeah.
Agreed.
very, very scummy.
I don't know. Because I think it's a bit interesting because it's like if like 2/3 or even just half of Overwatch's fan base basically just left because again the cut with China. I mean that could impact like the workers that are there. Like maybe some people had to be laid off because it wasn't made as much money. And like the fact that although Blizzard is in fact a multi-billion-dollar company and is able to probably provide for Overwatch if they can because they have all these other things that can help them still stay stabilized. The question still is like,
Mm-hmm.
how much money are they putting into Overwatch? Like, it could be proportional to how much they get out of Overwatch, or it could be some other method. The thing is, we don't know. It's
Yeah, but
definitely up in
it's
the
all
air of how
it was
money
all
is
up
managed,
to
how people are managed, and stuff like that.
yeah, but it was all up to Bobby Kodak's plan. Like if he decided
Mm-hmm.
a change wasn't right, he would just cut it out. Like okay,
Mm-hmm.
never mind. This is not going to be profitable. He was money
But
hungry.
he is also working on a bunch
Yeah.
of different jobs, because he's also isn't. You're talking about the CEO of Blizzard, right? That's
Yeah,
who Bob
Yes.
is. Yeah, he would probably not only have to worry about that game, but also a lot of other games
yeah.
that he is also
He also
a
runs
part of,
Activision,
and
which
and
like make
interactions
COD
with
games.
different. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like Overwatch could be just a small speck in the large amount of games and large amount of
Yeah,
work that he has to
but
do
he's the
every
one who
single
usually
day.
cuts off the plans, cuts off
Mm-hmm.
funding for changes in Overwatch, which would have been beneficial, like the map editor.
Mm-hmm.
That would have driven a lot
Which.
of player engagement.
I mean, fair enough. I guess
Mm-hmm.
he just didn't see it
Which.
as profitable for the company.
He did.
Well.
He
Well.
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the map editor. He was the one who who proposed it.
Exactly.
Uh, a year later, once it was almost finished, he cut it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's just basically
For-
him
for-
revoking. Yeah, that's just basically him revoking what he said, because he had the idea and he realized, no, never mind, this is probably not going to be a good idea. And the thing is, it's like, it's his company. He's the CEO.
He's
So if he
also out of
cuts a
touch though. He's so
so
out
if
of
he
touch with reality.
if he
He's
if
very
he
out of
cuts if
touch.
he cuts a feature like that, he's the one that's hurting, because he just spent a bunch of money developing that system that just never
You know what's
released.
even worse?
So
He
it
was
must
a
have been a tough
developer.
decision for
He
him
was a
anyway.
developer for EA in the past.
But that's pretty funny.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Huh.
He started off as a as a EA dev before he did he joined Activision Blizzard.
Depends
So
on when.
Mm.
EA.
that's
I don't
funny.
know.
Very
Yeah.
funny. Well, he's talking about like in his farewell letter. It was like 1991. It was yeah. Pretty sure it was like
I don't know.
1991 where he was talking about joining Blizzard.
Man, companies are complex, man.
They are.
There's so many different people, areas,
Indeed.
money, people. It's crazy.
He goes all over the place.
Hard for us humans to
it's a
comprehend
web
that.
of lies and truths. It's all
Yeah.
over the place.
I'd just say a web of things. You don't have to say both negative with lies and positive with truths. I would just say it's a thing. Because
I
I
mean, it
mean,
is. I mean, isn't
if
that
it
what
wasn't,
business is?
because
Lies
the
and
thing is
truths.
like,
Mhm.
if it wasn't successful, then they wouldn't keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because
True.
that's the thing when entertainment things. It's like, unlike any other services or any other areas where it's like we kind of need it to survive. With entertainment, we pay the people to do the entertainment. So whatever money they're getting is from us. So we are basically paying them. So if whatever tactics that they use is not working, then we just won't pay for it. And the thing is like, I think that can go any other way. Like, if people nowadays are getting like let's say like people are getting more aware nowadays that companies might be tricking them into like loot boxes or doing scummy business tactics, then we just won't pay for their games, and then they will
Mm-hmm.
take a tank and then they'll adjust.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the place that we are right
False
now because it
advertising
works.
mobile game ads, for example.
Yeah. So basically, like if none of like sure we complain about all these things and like scummy business tactics and other stuff like that, but it's like, well, we paid for it. We're the ones paying for these games. So technically it's like if we don't want these products, and you know, we just won't support that kind of thing. We won't buy that stuff. We won't buy these cosmetics. We'll try and find another game, try and find another area that we want to play. These things are here because we let them. A lot of people let them. And you know,
I mean, but we're clearly
we're here
showing
because
our.
of our
I mean, we're
go ahead.
clearly showing why and what we want for Overwatch. It's just they're not really listening.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen Brig in her rework? She's in the past. She yeah, they made her more into a tank later on in Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Because yes,
Hmm.
When she first came out,
she's overpowered.
a demon who could one v six the whole team, pretty much. They then nerfed her to where she was somewhat viable, but people still complained about her and now she's more or less a tank.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's more into character balancing, which could probably be its own other
Fair.
topic because I have my own opinions about character topics and tiers and competitive stuff like that. So
All right.
I have my own topics about that.
So,
But
fighter,
going
you
back,
got any topic?
Um, there was one thing I, I learned about a few hours ago. The 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 the, Twitch CEO was rejected from his own partner program.
I mean, what did he do?
enough about
Um,
Twitch to know this.
boy.
My YouTube boy. Yeah.
Well, from what I read, he he didn't tell his coworkers that he was going to do that. So mm,
Weird.
No.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I'm not really the best when it comes to finding idea topics.
No, you're good. I mean,
Okay.
I can bring up the controversy that's going on right now on YouTube.
No. I think we have enough a bit of talk in terms of all this stuff like that. I kind of want to go with a little bit something much more interesting. You guys all
Like
play
what?
Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
Of course,
What do you guys think about the new 1.21 update? The new
I
stuff
haven't
I
that's
haven't
played
seen
much
it.
of it.
you guys have. Okay, well then, Sugumi, take it ahead then. Go.
No, I haven't.
I thought you
I
guys
honestly don't know. I haven't
really
played
you don't know.
Minecraft in a long time. I haven't been following
I
it.
mean,
I
I
lost my
guess.
original
Yeah.
Minecraft account
I just
about a year and a
assumed.
half ago.
I guess I just assumed you guys were at least somewhat interested in Minecraft, but whatever. If you guys don't know about it, then
I mean, you can
we'll
still
just
bring
leave
it
it
up.
there.
I mean, you didn't really
Yeah.
know much about Overwatch. Go right ahead. Take
Well,
the
Yeah.
mic.
the thing is, I don't really know that much about Minecraft either. I know some of the stuff that's happened because although I don't play Minecraft all that much, I do watch like a fair amount of Minecraft YouTubers and stuff like that. Just basically just seeing what goes on, maybe having a little bit of laugh or two. But apparently, from what I've heard, have you guys heard of the mob vote cancellation or people trying to stop the mob vote?
Yes. Yes,
That
I
They
have.
just want to. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. They
yeah.
just want to remove their
So
vote in general and just bring in past and
Yeah.
present mob
yeah.
selections. Just add them all
So
into the game.
yeah. So
Yeah.
here's me trying to explain them up, which again, take all this with a grain of salt. I could be wrong about some of this stuff. It's just based on my own knowledge and you know, stuff like that. But essentially, the context for this is that the mob votes, the three mobs that were going to be added or were brung up to vote were the penguin, of which it would have the ability to make you move faster in a boat. There would be the armadillo, which would allow you to basically have wolf armor, and then there was the third one, the one that was close to winning. Oh, crab, who was
Yeah,
basically
crap.
able to extend the block reach. So there's a lot of layers to this, so I guess I'll go with them one by one. So the stopping the mob vote thing um, was basically just because all three, from what everyone basically assumed, based on like the mob vote and how all the things work, and from many polls that people would have online, is that a lot of people felt like the crab was going to win. With penguins making the boats go faster, we technically already had an animal that helps you go faster in the water, which was dolphins, except it was swimming instead of on boats. So
Mm-hmm.
penguin probably was not going to win functionally. And in armadillos, uh, I think players have just stopped using wolves at least for combat reasons. So people didn't really seem any use in like wolf armor and stuff like that. So it seemed like crab was like the honest winner, at least mechanically, which is very upsetting because the thing is that although mechanically the crab was the most interesting out of the three of them, all three animals are real life animals and is an animal that like a player could possibly support in one way or another and quite possibly want to be added to the game
I
as
mean,
well.
yeah, they're supporting different play styles, and I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea. Just add
Well,
them
not
all.
just playstyles, but also just like different
Yeah, at them all.
environments. It would just liven
Yeah.
up different environments too. So the whole stop the mob vote thing, which is because there is this conception, which Minecraft actually responded to in their Minecraft Live, of which they talked about who won the mob vote. But essentially, there's this conception on the internet about the fact that once a mob does not win, it will never get added to the game. Um, which Mojang basically responded with the fact, and it was very subtle too, with the fact that when I think they announced that the penguin got out, the penguin was last, that, uh, hey, don't worry, guys. There's the frog, which is apparently another mob that was in a mob vote, didn't get picked, and yet it still got it added in. So don't worry, there's a possibility your animal might come by. So, but obviously but it's still like one versus 1,000. That's what many other players are basically saying and talking about. And just like the whole constant mob vote is like, I would say like the whole stop the mob vote thing is just kind of like a continuation of all this different like pressure, or I guess all this buildup from all the previous mob votes, because that was basically the main conception was going to be was basically whichever mob won the mob vote would get added to Minecraft, and all other mobs would basically cease to exist, or maybe take years to be even considered again, as
Exactly.
was the thing with the frog. And so that's what people's kind of had this conception, and that's kind of why the whole mob vote kind of stopped, which I think kind of goes into the fact it's just like Mojang basically teasing these players of like what they could add and what their ideas are for a specific mob, but then only allowing players to have one of those three options, which I think is very interesting. Because like if they just announced out of the blue that they said, hey, we're gonna make this crab, or hey, we're gonna make this penguin mob, people would be excited and people wouldn't really be disappointed because they won't know that they missed out on two other mobs because this mob was added. But
Hmm.
because the mob vote introduces all these three mobs and basically says only one of them can make it, then it leads to like basically a sacrifice within the self of trying to sacrifice one mob over the other and being disappointed when you lose and the mob that you didn't want to come in wins. So it's basically it just feels like a defeat on your end. And so that's the main reason why Stop the Mob vote has happened. And apparently it's garnered a bunch of followers. Apparently it's gotten like a lot of votes to try and stop the mob vote, even though apparently this mob vote would actually have the most votes out of every mob vote, which is a topic that we're gonna get to real quick. Um, but yeah, just like uh, a lot of people wanted to stop the mob vote, and I think Mojang, or rather, I think because there were so many votes, there might be a consideration on whether or not to stop the mob vote or not. And I think Mojang's response to the mob vote, or rather why it exists, is more to give like more player feedback, or rather not I guess kind of player feedback. I think there's a better word for it, but basically just have players be able to contribute to the game, basically have an input onto the Minecraft experience. And so that's what the mob vote does, which
I
then
can
just I
see
guess
that.
makes it, yeah, which I guess then just comes to the question of just like, is the mob vote the best way to have players add their input to the game, which I think is probably something that's being put into question. Um,
Um, Personally, I- I'd say that something that they could do is this um hey fans, and these are our idea of possible future mobs. What do you think?
Yeah.
Basically the mob votes, but without the voting aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm. But I mean, also the big thing with the mob vote is that it's also kind of an event as well, which could be an
It
aspect
garners
to
support and
keep it fun.
attention to the game, brings players
Exactly.
back.
Yeah.
It's always a big
We'll
spectacle and
yeah.
all.
We'll see what the idea they may come up with and whether or not they will change the mob vote or not. Like either they could remove the mob vote and replace it with something else, or probably just
I mean,
change
but
how the mob
with
vote
what
operates.
though?
Yeah, that's the big question of which I don't think really many people have like considered or rather like gave like options for. But that's I think for Mojang to figure out and for all the other fans probably like try and figure
I,
out as well.
I think it'd
Because the
be
thing is like
best if if the instead of just doing a mob vote, they should just allow player feedback and have players decide for themselves and vote upon
yeah,
what ideas are best. Like if
yeah,
somebody
Yeah.
says, "Oh, okay, we're gonna like, what about adding a crocodile? And this crocodile will give you like special armor, but it's only able to be found in this biome." If players are able
also
to vote on that
In
post and or like
in
and
the swamp biome, for example.
yeah, if players are able to vote for that post and it just it shows how much the players want to really like the idea. So if they allow the players to come up with the ideas to add into the game and then they implement them, I think that'll be the best way for them to do it.
that's an interesting
Yeah,
idea
agreed.
actually. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that would be really interesting.
let the players
Mojang,
vote for
if
themselves.
Mojang or Minecraft players, if you hear this, the idea, I guess I don't know. It's,
Hmm.
if you want to steal his idea, do you give consent?
Are you 18?
No, it's not.
Are you
God, all
human?
right. Thank goodness we're past the 10 minute mark. Anyway,
Are you a
um,
robot?
but okay, but let me continue because it does go deeper than this.
Okay.
So I remember when I said that pretty much everywhere on the internet, basically a lot of the like the test votes from like basically content creators giving allowing their viewers to vote on which mob it is before the actual mob vote. A lot of what the polls kind of polled was that Crab was going to win, Armadillo came second, and Penguin basically came dead last. And the Crab on pretty much all of these polls basically won by a very substantial margin. And so it seemed very clear. It seemed quite likely that the Crab was going to win the mob vote. And then the actual mob vote came out, and it turns out that the Crab did not win. It was actually the Armadillo who won.
Yep.
And and then uh, and what basically happened, I believe I watched a video on YouTube of like quite possible confirmation of something that might have happened that might have contributed because no one believed that the armadillo was going to win. Everyone thought it was the crab, but then the armadillo did win, and I think by a decently substantial margin as well. Um, so here's the kicker. So from the video that I watched, apparently there is possible speculation that the Bob vote was actually hacked. Not rigged by Mojang, but rather like hacked with code to be able to sway the mob vote. So here's from
Hmm.
my understanding of it. So apparently there was a bit of a flaw. So basically, Mojang basically allowed um, players to be able to like vote on like kind of like the website. So whenever you log on Bedrock or maybe Java, there's basically like shows up a thing where you can basically end up choosing whatever mob that you wanted to vote for, and then you click that, and you can play the rest of the game. Simple as that. You boot up the game, you pick your mob, and then you basically just play it on. A bunch of different players were able to basically do a Discord bot, which basically allowed players to just basically vote on Discord whatever mob they want, and as long as they provided it with their username, um, then that bot would basically just vote for them. So they could just basically slash vote whatever animal they wanted, and then Discord would basically do all of that for them. So the inners of this code is a decently complex, and it's much more useful if you could if you guys saw the video or not. I'll send the video. I'll put the video in the description if anyone wants to kind of see that. But essentially, how what the main issue or the main crux of the issue is that on all platforms that Minecraft is able to be run on, there are certain like things that people have to do. I think it's like a specific Minecraft key or something of that nature. Basically, something that basically knows that like, oh yes, this is on the computer. This is you from your username. You can vote. except for iOS. Apparently, iOS Minecraft was apparently very easy to tamper with. You could basically create infinite accounts without having to spend any singular money and basically vote infinite number of times. Supposedly, allegedly. And apparently some tests were apparently done, and apparently like some people were able to get massive amounts of numbers in terms of what people did and voted basically voted for these animals. And apparently from what I've heard is that like within like the last few hours of the mob vote, there were apparently reports of basically the person who created the code to be able to rig the mob vote. He just basically sent it off to his friends or some of the people as just like kind of like a proof of concept. Turns out that code got leaked, and that leaked code was able to make it to a few select Discord groups or forums or areas or whatever. And apparently, within the last few hours of the mob vote, the bots were running in terms of voting the armadillo. First, it was a group that was able to use the bot to be able to vote the armadillo, and then shortly after that, there was another group which helped vote for the crab. Then started getting in a bunch of automated votes as well, and I think it's speculated that these hacks might have contributed to the armadillo winning, but there's a caveat. Because there's been some images that basically floated around that basically say how many times that the code has voted for a particular mob, and the numbers that the code um, gave out is way higher than the amount of votes actually given to the Minecraft account or the Minecraft Live that basically said how many votes each mob got. So there's a bit of inconsistency, and possibly means that the code might have failed too, at certain points. Alongside that, apparently Mojang actually acknowledged the fact that there had been some tampering, but from what they say is that the tampering was not enough to really sway the votes. And so there's speculation on whether this vote actually did help the armadillo win, or if the armadillo was going to win anyway, and these code hacks was actually not really all that effective, or affected a lot. I don't know. That's from what I've heard. I'll send the video. I don't know if I explained that good or well or not, but
So they're
yeah,
not going to be issuing another vote at all.
maybe no, because it's only happened with iOS, and it was just a small coding area that can be easily fixed. Um, so likely, if the stop the mob vote didn't happen, they would probably still do the mob vote even with this hacking incident. But
Okay.
Yeah,
who
probably.
knows? But yeah, that's like the rumor of why the armadillo won. But there is actually just as much evidence that the armadillo actually just did win it legitimately too. So
I think it
yeah,
was probably if since the armadillo did win, we could just chalk up the crab vote just to be overhype for select channels. It's just a minority of people
yeah,
who are hyped up and they had a loud voice regarding the issue.
yeah, yeah. It's either
Okay.
or, and I believe like the video that I watched did say that it was probably more likely that the code either didn't work, or that or rather that Mojang acted fast enough to realize that it was happening and stop it. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
yeah. But anyway, but yeah.
I think we should wrap it up here for today, boys.
Mm-hmm. I think so
Agreed.
too. Yeah.
Any ending remarks?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. No.
All right. Assets out.